truck today. We're actually heading into Charlotte because I need to do a couple things. I need to get the truck inspected, and second of all, we're gonna go head to the junkyard because we need to go pick up some parts. I won't really tell you what we're looking for, but if we find it, we'll let you know, and we'll pick it up. All right, guys, we're here at Pull Apart, and we're actually here to pick up some parts for the truck. So let's go ahead and get unloaded and find our part. All right, guys, as you can see, we're back home. I was going to film a little bit in the junkyard, but their sign specifically said no filming, no cameras. So I ended up not getting any footage from the junkyard, but I did end up getting the part that I wanted. And what that part is, this is a rear sway bar off a 2005 Chevy Suburban. Now, this sway bar will fit on the truck with some modifications. The sway bar itself is fine, but what we're gonna have to do is actually use some exhaust clamps. We use those exhaust clamps to go around the axle on both sides. Those will be 3.5 inches in diameter. And on the bottom of the exhaust clamp, we're gonna have to get a plate and probably cut and weld that to the bottom of the exhaust clamp. That way we have a good mounting point for the sway bar itself. And then the other part that I didn't grab from the junkyard was the end links, because the Tahoe and Suburban end links are too short. We're actually be going back to my Chevy Beretta days and using a set of Beretta GTZ front end links. They're I don't remember the exact length of them, but they are like 2 or 3 inches longer than the Tahoe, and that'll put it in the right spectrum for us to attach the sway bar from the end point to the frame itself. And then on the back of the frame, we're gonna have to take some angle iron and basically cut our own brackets and then drill some holes in the frame and bolt everything up. So I can't take credit for this swap. I saw this, a friend of mine actually did this. He has a 2001 8.1 6-speed manual 2500, but his is a Silverado. And of course, being thrifty like he is, he grabbed a Tahoe rear sway bar, grabbed some Beretta parts, and fabbed up his own angle iron brackets like I was telling you about. And his name is Eric, and I'll share his social media down below as well as on the screen. That way you guys can give him a shout out and make sure and thank him for coming up with this idea. So now that we've got the sway bar itself, we can go ahead, order the rest of the parts, and start our fabrication. And some of you guys might be wondering, well, don't they sell bolt-on rear sway bar kits? They do, but those kits are almost $400. I believe the manufacturer is Hellwig, and it's like $360 or $380 plus shipping, and ends up being almost $400. I got this sway bar off the Suburban for $26. So the sway bar itself was super cheap. You know, okay, maybe it was $28 with a $2 entry fee to get into the junkyard, but like I said, $28. We'll have to buy some end links, buy some angle iron. Hey guys, as you can see, we're in the truck. We're gonna head up to AutoZone probably and pick up those exhaust clamps for the rear sway bar mount pieces. And then we're actually gonna head up to Denver and check out the post office, because we haven't checked the P.O. box in a while, as well as we're gonna go check out Ray City Steel and see what kind of angle iron they got. And I also might need to buy some flat stock, or yeah, I don't know if I want to buy the angle too long and just cut it out of that, or just buy some flat stock as well. So let's head up to AutoZone, get the clamps, and then we'll head up to Denver. Well, that was a bust. I looked online for basically the Walker brand exhaust clamps, and no one had it. AutoZone was out of stock, Advance Auto was out of stock, O'Reilly's didn't have it in stock. I even checked Napa on their website. It was all special order. So instead of just driving around to all these places, I sat in the AutoZone parking lot. I was on my phone for 5 minutes, and I just ordered it on Amazon. So that will get here on Prime on Monday. That's actually when my end links are supposed to get here, so that'll be good. What kind of sucks is that I won't be able to kind of fab up any of the brackets or anything right now, but that's okay. You know, once we get all the parts, we can, you know, finalize all the fitment and whatnot. So we got a bust on the exhaust clamps, but now we're on the interstate we'll head up to Denver. All right, guys, we're here at Race City Steel, but if you see that little sign on the door over there, unfortunately they're closed. Today's Good Friday, and I wasn't expecting them to be closed, but it makes sense. They're a small family-run organization, and so not a bigger deal. So I actually have to go check the P.O. box anyway, so this isn't a bigger deal, but that just sucks out striking out 0. You know, we're 0 for 2 on this one. So, but anyway, let's head up to the post office. We'll check the box, see if anything's going on, and we'll head home. All right, guys, we're actually just leaving Denver now. I went to the post office. All I got was another bill. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna be it for this part of the video. We're kind of a bust. We're like 0 for 2 on the parts and all that stuff, but you know what? It is what it is, and we'll continue this when we get the rest of the parts in on Monday. All right, guys, we're back in the shop. It's been about a week, and we have a table full of parts. I actually went back up to Race City Steel when they were open, and I was able to pick up this 2x2 angle iron. This is 3/16 wide, maybe a little bit overkill for the application, but we got 2 feet of that. And Race City Steel charges it was like $2.15 a foot. So I think I paid $4 for the steel, and they cut it down to the size that I needed. We also picked up a set of energy suspension rear polyurethane bushings, because the factory ones that I have are actually really worn out. And I want to say these were roughly 20 bucks. So, you know, we're going to have a full polyurethane bushing in the back. And the part number for the bushings is 35125G. If you order that with the R, that will come in red. But since I don't have any red bushings on the car, or truck in this case, we went with the black. And the end links finally came in. These came in from Rock Auto. The GM part number is 45G0092. That's the AC Delco number, or the GM part number 889-12241. We ordered 2 of these. These are from a Chevy Beretta. And guys, there's a ton of dust on these. So these might be new old stock or something like that, but they have definitely been sitting for quite a while to have that much dust on them. So I don't know if it's a dusty warehouse or Rock Auto, but it just seemed exceptionally dirty for brand new parts. And the last thing that we ordered finally came in were the 3.5-inch exhaust clamps. And these are from Walker. Let's get you a part number. The part number for these is going to be 119333. And that's going to be your 3.5-inch exhaust clamp. So we're going to use that to go around the axle. We're going to weld a plate to the bottom of that so we can bolt our bushing to. And we should be good to go. So the first thing we're going to do today is actually cut down some of the angle iron. I'm actually using it for the flat plate steel that we want to get out of it. I need 2 pieces about 5 inches long, like we said, and that'll just be a good base to weld our exhaust clamp to, so that we can have a good base to bolt our suspension bushing, the rear polyurethane bushings to. Alright guys, we got our 2 pieces that we need for the plate. Like I said, we just cut this in half. So like, we just cut this in half. This is one. I'll grind this flat, and one plate might be a little bit bigger than the other, but that's not gonna be a bigger deal. So let's go ahead, we'll get this metal cleaned up, and I think we'll get ready to start welding. Alright guys, you'll notice we have our welding gear on. That is because we are using our Vulcan MIG welder, and we're basically creating our brackets like we described yesterday. And you'll see the first piece that we got, we welded the bottom of the exhaust clamp to the brackets that we made yesterday. We're going to do the same over here on this side. I've got it clamped pretty much straight in the piece. You know, it's not super necessary for it to be 100% straight. All right guys, so we have our piece on here. We've already adjusted the welder for the thickness of the metal, as well as the amperage and speed. We have our MIG welding shielding gas turned on, and we're pretty much good to go. The only thing we really need to do is cut down this spool wire. It's a little long, and yeah, so let's go ahead and get started on welding up the second bracket. Alright guys, here's our first piece that we welded up. You can see where I stopped and started several times, but we got that side welded up. Got the other side welded up. I am, that one ain't gonna be going anywhere. So for the next part of this, we're gonna use our drill press and put a drill bit down through the bracket and drill through our bottom base plate. And then the last part we're going to have to do is drill a third hole, get another bolt in here, cut that down, weld that, and, you know, tack weld it on 2 sides if we can, and that should act as our stud. So the last thing that we need to do is actually put a bolt to act as a stud through it. So we need to drill another hole through our bottom bracket as well as the exhaust clamp. And to kind of get an idea where we want our hole, I mounted our Swaybar bracket on here, and there's some room to play on this bracket because it kind of slides in and out. I think what I'm gonna do is try to center it as best I can, and yeah, so I think what we'll do is go ahead and mark it somewhere like that, and if we have to, we'll just notch this piece of the Swaybar bracket out. That way when we tighten down our hardware for the clamp and the bracket. All right guys, we got the 2 brackets done. I still need to weld this bolt in, but basically what you guys can see, we took a bolt, I grinded down 2 of the sides, that way it kind of locks in the channel. I'm also going to tack weld it on both sides. You might be able to get away with not welding it, but honestly guys, since we're in a recessed spot and you're not gonna get a ratchet or anything in there. I'm just gonna go ahead and weld it. And I also happen to find some hardware that fits, so let's go ahead, get these two studs slash bolts welded in, and we will officially be done with this bracket. Alright guys, so we've officially wrapped up welding on this project. We have the brackets all done. We've got the Swaybar mounts welded and the stud created and everything bolts together on the lower exhaust clamps. Alright guys, here is the braided parts. This is one of the GTZ end links. This side will go to the Swaybar. This side will bolt to our bracket. This bracket will bolt to the frame. This is just more of that angle iron that we picked up from Race City Steel that I modified and cut and welded to the exhaust clamps. This is actually the part that's going to go attached to the frame. It's simply 2x2. I measured roughly 1 inch from the bottom in. That's for the side end link, and then for the top, I measured roughly in just over 1/2 inch. It's not 1/2 inch. It's a little bit more, and 1 inch in. So that should be good to go. And yeah, so our brackets are done. The end links are done. All right, guys, here is the parts all painted up. It's kind of drying right now. I just threw 2 coats of black engine paint, pretty much. And that's going to be on both sides. And when this stuff dries in the morning, we'll throw it on the truck. All right, guys, we have finished the Swaybar install. Nothing too complicated down here. Basically, you're going to want to drill 2 holes for the bracket, the angle iron brackets that we made. That's going to go through the frame. Attach your end links to the frame as well as the Swaybar itself. And then you're going to use your exhaust clamps like we talked about earlier. That's going to go around the axle itself. Same on the passenger side. And same with the end link going through the Swaybar up into the frame and then into your angle iron bracket, just like that. The 2500 frames are very thick, so I would suggest that you guys use a electric corded drill. Don't use a battery powered one. The battery powered ones just won't have enough juice. And I've got one that actually has a separate handle that goes around the neck of the drill. Use it, because if that thing kicks loose, that could whack you right in the head. So, and then we drilled 2 holes, like I said, through the frame. We use hardware that's sitting around. It's all automotive grade. Grade 8 bolts, and actually 2 of the bolts came from the Suburban that we got from the Junkyard. So as you guys can see, the Swaybar is in. I do need to grease the bushings, but that shouldn't take too much. Once you grease that, tighten everything down. There's not really going to be any torque specs for any of this stuff, because this is for you know, Suburban, not a 2500 chassis. And so I just got everything good and tight. Basically, where the Milwaukee ratchet stopped spinning, that's where we got everything tight. So I think that's gonna be about it for the Swaybar. So that pretty much wraps up the Swaybar install. A little bit of fabrication with the brackets and the exhaust clamps, as well as the brackets that you bolt to the frame. Pretty simple parts though. Exhaust clamps, some bushings, some angle iron, and some hardware that you have to go pick up. That's pretty much about it. I think I have roughly $100, maybe $120 in this project total. I think we said earlier in this video that the Hellwig Swaybar was like damn near $400, so $100 versus $400, and maybe, I don't know, it didn't take too long to cut all this stuff apart and cut it. Plus we got to use the welder again, so you know, it's kind of fun using all the tools that you have. And we used pretty much everything we have. We used angle iron, we used the bandsaw, we used our welder, we used the MIG welder this time. I almost decided to use the TIG weld, but for this video I just went with the MIG welder. Use our drill press a lot. And yeah, so that's pretty much gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. If you guys want to see more truck content, Corvette content, SS content, hit that subscribe button. Turn on your bell notifications. If you guys want to help support the channel, check out the links down below. I should have links to the bushings. Maybe we can find some angle iron, and definitely the exhaust clamps that we end up using. We'll probably have those 3 parts. The Swaybar, you can buy a Dorman version. Maybe I'll include a link for that. Yeah, we'll include a link for that. Otherwise, go to the Junkyard, and they're fairly cheap if you can find one. So, and also make sure you check out our website, BonecrrusherSS.com. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.